even monsters get some love.
You're not a serial killer, right? No.
No.
Okay. If I open the fridge, there's no jars with.
There's some rice, but that's it.
No.
I will never be this person. Doesn't matter what therapy and what things. I stopped throwing objects at people. And actually, you realize that the devil is not so black. Owning your mess becomes very important when you suffer.
We have this idea that, there is a path to constant self-improvement. And there is this ideal being that I could be.
I think that we need to cultivate it's cheesy to say, but it's trust in the future.
They're liars and I told it to you.
Yeah, today we discussed, as you mentioned, sober and drunk. You sober, me drunk.
Which is the Spartan way of assessing the soundness of an idea. Yeah?
Exactly.
It has to sound good when you're sober and when you're drunk.
Yes, but probably the same person should be sober or drunk.
That's what the Spartans did. But, they're all dead. So
so we tested the idea. That was a kind of a recent one. Is do we own our mess when we are 50? I can say my standpoint is that we don't, or I don't know. What do you think? Do we own our mess, our emotional mess? I mean,
let's maybe then again, me being the German in the room, but you being the psychologist. Let me ask you, what does it mean to own your mess? I mean, can we define the playing field a bit so I can give some answer that makes?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say like the famous Facebook wisdom, which is...
It's always so enlightening, yeah?
Yeah.
Right? Yes.
Come on, how have we lived without all this wisdom free?
I have literally no idea.
But I would say, do we accept and act responsibly and kind of really own our mess, which is, okay, I'm doing this number of things to you, partner, friends, colleague, whoever. And I know that it will hurt you or it will not, you will not like it, but I'm still doing it. And I'm assuming, I'm kind of accepting the responsibility for this because that's who I am. At some points, I thought, okay, Diana, you are 52. You have been...
Which is why you qualify for this podcast.
Exactly. That
just
was
to make that
the
point,
first check.
Just to say.
I ticked this box. You have been to therapies 20 plus years of your life. This thing has been there, like the fact that I'm kind of demanding, needy. And when I say needy, I kind of want to make the difference that I have needs and there is neediness and I have needs and I should stand up from my needs. It's not...
Is that also, sorry for interrupting you, but is that also a part of owning your shit, to know what you want, what you need, and what you expect from
whoever?
Not just a relationship, also a job, or also just a movie, whatever. A meal.
A therapist.
A therapist, yes.
And
let's call it a thing.
A thing.
A thing. A thing is a fantastic thing because we don't have to put a label on it. A thing. What do you expect from a thing?
But and not be ashamed by the fact that you have needs, because again, there is needs, there is neediness. If I neediness, I can't live without this thing. I need you to make me happy. Otherwise, I'm a kind of trash, garbage. I can't. Anyway, so these 20 years of therapy, I'm on this thing that, okay, I probably have more needs than somebody else. My emotions are probably more in amplitudes. I'm up and down and not so, so well composed all the time. I make decisions, I take decisions very quickly, probably influenced by emotions, etc. That's probably why they are not so stable.
Because then you have time to think about them.
Yeah, because I'm impulsive. Yes. I go with, okay, so what? What is this stage and this moment in my life when I will kind of put all this together? I'm not saying not improve, but this constant strive to kind of perfection, when there will be a Diana who is so emotionally regulated, who will have these decisions absolutely balanced out. I will be then I will be totally, how to say, predictable and independent, no needs whatsoever. You're here, good. You're not here, I don't care. It will never be this way. And that's what I mean. I try to own my mess. I will be this mess.
Yeah,
but I need to accept it now.
Yeah, but I would go further. I would ask, is that necessarily a bad thing? Because we are all Americanized, yeah? I mean, even though you're Bulgarian, I'm German, we're all Americanized. We're all, and we have this idea that, there is a path to constant self-improvement. And there is this ideal being that I could be, if only I would work a bit harder and I would read one more self-help book, get up a bit earlier, go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, and whatever, do all these things that are completely terrible, by the way. Don't go at 5 o'clock in the gym. It doesn't. And by the way, even the people who say they do it, they don't. They're just liars. So they're liars, and I told it to you.
Yeah.
Just don't do that. No, I would say there's a good reason why we are the way we are and why we are different. And there's not that one ideal that you can read in a book and that fits us all. And if your point is, do we become better at accepting who we are? I would say yes and no, because now having had my thoughts about all this self-help and idealizing and what could I be, there is, of course, there is, of course, I believe, the idea of improvement. So you have to accept yourself the way you are, but it doesn't mean that you can't be a bit better and you can't change. Does it make sense? It
makes sense a lot. But you know what I was thinking about when I was listening to you? Actually, it's very comfortable to discuss about this when you are not suffering, but when you are under the water due to this emotional dysregulations and this impulsiveness and all these things, then you make these decisions. Let me go to a therapy that will, the lady, the therapist, she said, by November this year, if I'm a good student, I'm fixed. It's good. Like all these 20 years of struggling in different types of therapies, forget about them. I'm good.
They will wrap up and you will be whole.
Exactly. I will be a brand new person, so emotionally regulated that you can't recognize me anymore. But for me, at some point, owning your mess becomes very important when you suffer, when you are in a situation where, namely, you feel neglected. Then tell yourself, okay, this is because you did this to you, because of these features you have. Then accept the consequences. That's the thing. You know, as I say, marriage is hard, divorce is hard, being emotionally dysregulated is hard, being emotionally regulated is boring.
Choose your struggle, basically.
Exactly. Yes. But
I hear you. It's a mature way of approaching things. Choose the battle you want to, and choose your battles wisely. By the way, that's an old. very old wisdom, I would say. Choose them wisely. But how do we do that? I mean, how do we choose? I mean, owning your shit means choosing your battle. But which criteria do we use to do that? I mean, doesn't it mean like?
I would say two things here. And I'm very much influenced by what I do the last 3-4 months, and don't laugh at me and don't think that I'm kind of now illuminated. I do meditations. And honestly, I didn't believe that it could help. And I'm doing this, and I recommend this to everybody. It's not a paid advertisement, etc. The Art of Living, Shri, that's the guru who is guiding the meditations.
Okay.
Because I'm not such a big expert to do meditations on my own. I need somebody to guide me because I have this monkey mind. So even with the guided thing, my mind is all over the place. But still, there are moments when it gets to you. Like it's not. I haven't been into this status where you are completely, empty-headed, etc. But still, there is quite a progress because I started with 5 minutes. Now I'm easily doing 20, aiming to go to half an hour and not go further because
today's
enough is enough.
Hours and yes.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I don't plan to go to an ashram or whatever. But there, the main messages they are telling you all the time is repose in yourself, let the things be, let the things go. You don't need to know anything right now. You don't need to do anything. These type of things, like, honestly, it helps. First thing, the meditation helps. Probably not for everybody. I was the first one saying, "Oh no, not for me. This thing, I'm too active. I will never be able to calm down and to sit there." You do. 5 minutes in the beginning, it's totally doable. And the second thing I think that we need to cultivate is, it's cheesy to say, but it's trust in the future.
Yeah, that's
it's very cheesy.
That's a good point. No, it's not. No, it's not cheesy. No, I don't think it is. Actually, I think this is very crucial, because I see myself here. Yeah, I see myself here, but I also see it in my friends and family and so. Many things, many fears, or many weird behaviors that we have. Stash money, save things, forget to live while we do that, or work 27 hours, that's me, a day, 8 days a week, instead of having that short ski vacation, only 3 days or so. Yeah, that is, I think, mediated by a distrust in the future. Yeah, because if you do have this trust, I will still be okay. A year or 2 or 5 from now, I will still have a job. I will still have an income. There's a chance I will have a stable relationship. My family will still be there supporting me. I will be okay. If you do that, then you can find a much better mix between doing all these future-related things, building all these walls and these treasures and hoarding them, and just living in the moment, and just do things now. And have that drink, do that vacation, have that date, spend that money on some dinner, do that. Why not?
But this for people, I am a worst case scenario person. But that's actually a very, in positive psychology, they will probably reject it. But overall, if you would approach life like this as well, there is a lot of benefit in there, because you always say, okay, what's the worst case scenario? I'm single until the end of my life. I have no boyfriend,
not
girlfriend.
necessarily terrible, but yes.
Okay, but we are in the worst case scenario. Yes. Okay? I'm single. I don't have money. I don't have a job, etc. I'm like totally moneyless. I don't know, how exactly, but like nothing, because I still have 1 or 2 real estates that are kind of there.
Let's not go into financial details here, but
but I mean, okay. So, okay, what can I do if I'm in, because these are the 2 things for me that matter. The first one much more than the second one, because being in a relationship that is kind of balanced and mutual and everything, then doesn't matter if you have $5. You have $5 for 2 of us, so we are good. I'm good. Honestly, I'm good. I don't care. 5, we buy ourselves 2 beers and we are good.
I would buy myself a bread and some butter, but yes.
But it's like, as long as it's not like, okay, these are your 5 money or
units of account.
And these are mine. So if you have this money, then become a lesser problem. The opposite is not true. If you have a lot of money but not this relationship, that's okay. You can buy yourself a number of things, but okay, let's not go into money versus love discussion, which is obvious that money can go.
I don't think it's that obvious.
It is obvious. Come on.
Is it? I think it's 2 separate domains, but they do have a correlation to each other. While money can't buy you love, it certainly is an enabler for many things. If it's only of you being in a completely different mood, more self-secure.
I totally agree. I will not go and spit on the money thing. No, not at all.
It's fantastic.
It is fantastic.
Awesome.
But
I recommend it to everybody. Actually,
but the worst case scenario. I mean, if you have to choose the worst of the worst, I would prefer not to have money and have a relationship rather than have a lot. If there is such a choice to be made. But anyway.
Typically, yes, but yes.
Yeah, but anyway.
It's about priorities.
Yeah, but then you sit there and you figure out this worst case scenario and say, okay, what are the options then that are in front of me? I always say this to myself, I don't know why. Okay, I will clean houses. I will do something. I mean, I will, even if I'm like, I will translate things if I'm not physically able to clean houses because I don't know. So you start figuring out some exit options. Okay, I'm alone. I don't have money. What's in front of me? How can I do this? And actually, you realize that the devil is not so black. And you can think about things. So it can help you trusting the future and yourself more. Instead of saying to yourself, okay, everything will be good, I will... Okay, let's figure out what happens if it's not.
It may... Okay,
go.
It may... The interesting approach here, I think, is that you do have a very concrete picture in your mind. Okay, this is how it will look like and this is what I will do. It's not just about, it's going to be good or bad or worse or better. You have a very concrete picture. I could be that person who either cleans houses or translates, I don't know, things for...
French to something.
From French to, I don't know, some other language for pennies.
Yeah, but still.
But it would probably work on some level. Yeah, and then you see that existence is possible on many levels. And by the way, just as a proof of concept, I mean, if you go out into the city, we have a city here behind us and in front of us, you will find people on all these levels of existing, and all of them do, surprise, exist. Yeah. They are there because you can see them. That's what existence means. So yeah, that does help. I see the point, but how does that help me owning my shit, accepting myself and the things I do that I do right now? Not the things I might be doing if things go bad or wrong or better or worse, but me, how does it reflect to my now situation?
I think that a kind of analysis, and I think everybody should be able to do this analysis. That's a little bit judgmental, but still, it's like to say, okay, what are the hard skills, the things that nobody can take away from me. And I speak French. Unless something falls on my head and I suddenly this.
Which can happen, by the way. I had a friend to whom that happened.
Yeah, and stopped speaking French.
He had close contact with the tram.
That's the really worst.
He stopped speaking at all.
But
not so good.
That's a very extreme scenario, and then you have other issues.
It did happen. I mean, it did really happen.
Okay, but
I get your
you isolate these skills and you say, okay, I have this. On the other hand, you say, and I am these are my negative characteristics. Let's put it like this. Okay. I am not emotionally stable. I am it looks like I'm a monster all the time. Like I'm probably. But okay, let's be it. I am a monster. Very unstable. Okay. So 2 things here. I can stay on my own and not bother anybody with my monstrosity. Or there is somebody who will like this at some extent, who will be willing to accept this twisted mind of mine. And so that's the hope. There is probably the trust, there is probably somebody who will find this cute. Why not?
Yeah. So, because in German we say, jeder Topf hat seinen Deckel. There is a... How do you translate that?
Oh my God.
There's a nut for every bolt, I would say. Yes.
Yeah. But how do we do this now? Okay, I'm trusting that, even monsters get some love. And even people are writing letters to killers in prison.
I was just thinking that, or the Phantom of the Opera,
Yeah.
Even though I would not, I mean, you're not a serial... You're not a serial killer, right? No.
No,
okay. Just
not
having asked the question because I'm here
I have some positive qualities.
I'm in your place here. So if I open the fridge, there's no jars with...
there is some rice, but that's it.
Then again, okay. But then, Diana, aren't we simply in a way back? And then again, I just try to break it down. Aren't we back again to 2,500 years ago to the temple of Delphi, of the Oracle of Delphi, where it just says, know thyself, know who you are, and then of course live with it, because owning your shit is not just knowing your shit, it's also owning it.
It's but we are back to the beginning of the conversation where you are there, you are assessing yourself. Okay, these are the good things, these are the bad things. So let me start one by one, trying to eliminate the bad things, which is a very commendable effort. Nobody wants to have these defects. And then what? At some point, at 70 or 80 years old, I will be perfect. And what? I will have a medal. Somebody will come and tell me, that's great.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, this is a point that, you know who made that point?
No.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And Arnold.
Who, by the way, is a very deep thinker. It's very interesting. I mean it without irony.
I don't know the gentleman.
He's been a governor.
Yeah.
And so obviously he's a smart cookie. But he said that thing. He said, okay, because he's like in his 70s, I think. And he said, okay, here we are, or here I am, so I trained all my life. I learned, I got connections, and I tried to improve myself. And I met people, and I tried to do the best, and I ate well, and now here I am. Yeah. So what now?
Yeah.
And that was basically his thing. What now? Yeah. So what have I?
And the quantity of struggle and the quantity of self-criticism, at least myself, the quantity of self-harm, emotional, I would say, that I put on myself, like convincing myself that, okay, you're not good enough. You get, once again, you did this. And, woof! All this for this hypothetical point where I will be this extremely balanced human being. Will this make me more lovable? I don't know.
Yeah, and then again, I'm probably utilitarian here. I had a similar discussion with a friend of mine, who probably, if he listens, knows whom I'm talking about. And it kind of connects with the thing you said about meditation and the ashram and whatever. And okay, here's my point, and I try to make it simple. So you have this perfect being who meditated like 20 years and has connected to his inner self and whatever mind's eye, whatever, sitting there in an ashram, having literally put the imprint of his feet into the wooden floor because has been meditating there on this very part of the floor for, I know, in the last 20 years or so. And he's maybe perfect, but what has he done to the world or for the world? He has no fucking impact. And then you have a flawed being, and let me put a name here, yeah, just to make this thing more juicy, yeah. You have Elon Musk, for example. He's a very flawed being, yeah, and he's developing more and more into a clown. If nobody takes him serious anymore, nobody can take him seriously because he's descended into a state of madness. But nevertheless, you got to give to the man that he
put the first implant in the brain.
Yeah, but a week ago. He's one of those people who work on making us a spacefaring species again, and he popularized electro cars, non-combustible engines cars. So he's a very flawed being. Yeah, but he did something. He had impact, and probably, if you measure it, on balance, probably a positive impact on the world, whereas the perfect being in the ashram has not. It's just somebody there meditating and begging for rice every day. My point being, is it so important to be that perfect being? I would say it's more important to be an effective being.
Effective?
Effective to do something.
Yeah.
Ideally for the good.
Yeah. And I think that the three things that are we discussed this again. I'm repeating myself probably, but the three things that's kind of the basic components of our identity is: am I competent? Am I lovable? Am I a good human being? So they can be broken down into various, good human being could be a good daughter, a good mother, a good friend, a good charitable person, blah blah, lovable by my partner, by all these things. But how many of these, these three things? What is the impact if we are not such a good person all the time?
Yeah.
What is the impact on us, on the society, on the world, on the universe? I don't know. On how we will feel with ourselves if John, Paul, George, or Ringo don't like me, don't love me.
Yeah, so what? And also, if I just to expand on your thought, if we do that, if our ideal is that stringent, that hard, then we probably do what your psychologist did. All we can do, because we want to avoid all these weaknesses or being, not that perfect being, we will probably follow a rigid protocol.
Yeah.
We will stop being ourselves. We will stop being playful because something could go wrong. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, there are situations where it's a good idea to follow the protocol. So if you're a plane operator,
exactly. I'm
it's
not
very good
questioning.
to do all your checks.
I'm not questioning, and I'm not neither questioning the therapy nor I'm questioning the therapist. But okay, she's not a good therapist for me. She's probably excellent with somebody who is self-harming themselves and stuff like this. She probably can
It needs some structure.
Yeah, take them from point A to point B. I'm not. I'm a, and I'm talking about myself. I'm much more multi-layered, and I'm not saying that people who are cutting themselves are not, but I'm working in the nuances here. Like, can I be a little bit more, controlling myself a little bit better this week, next week, etc. Have I learned something from my emotional disbalance? Yes. Do I think I'm able to master this forever? I don't think so.
But are you at least, because then again, technically, we are this past 50 podcast, are we at least getting better? Because you say we can't do it all of the time, but do we develop?
Okay, yes, with one, yes, I don't, honestly, for me, yes, but there are still situations, me sticking my tongue.
Like a 7-year-old, yes.
Like a 7-year-old. Yeah. Love is a situation where you become so stupid because your prefrontal brain stops functioning and you are not rational anymore. Yeah. And whatever rational decision, the rational mind, the emotional mind, blah, blah, everything goes away. You have one neuron that functions. That's it. And it says, this one, then, that's it.
We become basically animals, yeah?
Yeah, so is it even doable to go and apply all these structures and things when you're completely blindsided by this feeling? We discussed this the first time. Do we handle better separations?
Yeah, the very first podcast.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I don't think so. A little bit better, and it's back and forth. You do 3 steps further, 2 steps back, and like this, and yeah.
I just try to think of that if that's a good or a bad thing. On one hand, it seems to imply that we don't get that much wiser as we get older. On the other hand, you could also read it as, do we really get old? Or is it, mentally? No. No, neither.
So, and actually, we just discussed this about our retired parents, etc. I think that you basically stay as you are. You can kind of polish some corners and just kind of make some things a little bit more sophisticated or acceptable, etc. But end of the day, people stay basically who they are. And the thing is to own your mess and to say, okay.
That's what it is?
I'm very much willing to try to be softer, to be more this, more that, etc. That's the willingness to improve, which is more important rather than the result itself. I would sincerely love to be, really, to be a person that can keep their cold blood in a critical situation, love drama or etc. when I will never be this person. Doesn't matter what therapy and what things. I stopped throwing objects at people at some point. It's twice in my life. I threw some. Once it was a lamp, and the second time was what? I don't know. It's not that I'm a serial scandal maker, like whatever. But I stopped doing this, which is good.
Especially for the objects.
But from there to say, okay, tomorrow I'm a very, calm and serious person who never sticks their tongue in a professional meeting and never tries to throw a joke or to giggle. No, I don't think that I will, regardless of the therapies, the time, the efforts that I will invest in this. Okay.
But then, and then if I...
Yeah, sure.
But then basically, just to break it down, because I always try to break it down and make it, doesn't it just mean, in a way, accept who you are? I mean,
exactly. I know.
To bring it back to Facebook wisdom, because we love it so much.
That's all we did.
That's all we did. Yes. No. We have one twist. We have one twist.
Okay.
Because Facebook wisdom is, and it's not just Facebook wisdom. It's again the ancient Greeks who came up with this very idea. This is like a Stoic idea. Give me the strength to change things I can change, the wisdom to accept things that I have to accept, that I cannot change, and so on. And then all we say is, yes, that's true, but it's also true for ourselves, not just things, but also give me the strength to change things about myself that I can change, and give me the strength, give me the wisdom
to accept what I cannot change
about myself. Yeah. So
to a certain extent.
Because there's a frustration. I mean, there's a frustration being built in. If you try to be that one thing that you just cannot be for whatever reason, but you still try to be it, then that's a source of frustration and that's a source of unhappiness. So if you accept who you are and what you can be and what you can't be, and you go the way that you can be and you accept the way you can't be, then you take that frustration away, you take that tension away, and you can focus on making the best of what you are. I mean, that is wisdom, and maybe that is
the thing that I arrived to this conclusion the last 10 days. When I said, okay, I promised myself I will do this, I will behave in this way, I will say this, I wrote things, I will behave, I will... Nothing.
Yeah.
It was even though a total mess. So, okay, it's all this preparation, it goes with it. You are kind of disappointed on top of this by yourself. You go and you say, and I'm like, why in the world I have prepared so much for all these whatever conversations I had to have, etc. So first of all, I invested all this intellectual and emotional energy in preparation. Then the event happens, I don't behave at all as per the preparation.
You never do.
And then afterwards you're like, how could you again? So this is a real sandwich thing, I
have, if I may, because it's an interesting thing. Maybe it's its own podcast, but let me tease it. Now that you think, because you completely, because it's the thing I was thinking about recently. As you know, I'm a drummer. Or I used to be a drummer. My skills deteriorated a bit, but I used to be a drummer. And drummers, what they do when they have to improvise, and improvising here meaning you being on that thing and you think about how it could be, but at the end of it, it's never exactly, so you have to improvise. What drummers do when they have to improvise, they don't improvise just, play something random. They have things called rudiments, like a single stroke, a double stroke, tack, 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 or a paradiddle, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. And they combine them at different speeds and they play it as, but it's basic rudiments, basic building blocks of what they want to do. And what I do believe in, and it's probably a flawed and weird analogy, is that we shouldn't prepare so much on the specific situation because we cannot, but we should work on our rudiments. So we have a toolkit for improvising in that situation. So we know how can I become aware of myself in a situation where maybe I'm mentally challenged? How can I talk more slowly in a situation where I should actually do that and should not start to get another, how can I do this? How can I control my rudiments? That's what I'm saying. And how can I put them together, string them together in a way that makes all of a sudden for a super cool improvised solo in a situation where I didn't even know I had to play one because that fucking bass player just looked at me and went like, yeah, now it's your turn, play a solo. And I didn't even know it was there. But because I have my rudiments there, I can react, And that's a thing that I was thinking about recently. Yeah?
Let's discuss about the rudiments
let's discuss
next
maybe,
time.
yes. We should do one thing.
What?
We should come up with the thing that you guys.
Okay.
If you wondered why this was a rambling today, we have a new thing. Every 5th podcast is completely non-scripted, more like a meditation. It's unguided. It's rambling. We call it, what was your word?
Chaotic.
Yes, it's chaotic. So that was the chaotic podcast. If you wondered why there was a little structure, that's by design. Thank you so much. By the way, like and subscribe down there.
It's him doing this thing, not
yes.
me. Well done.
Well done. So now we have an eye liquor.
Yeah.
So.
Oh.
No, whatever.
No.